You know, let me tell you something that has actually derailed us to make an impact, especially from sports, arts and cultures side of things. It is always in between the line. We must read in between the lines. Not even the president in his State of the Nation address mentions this sector. Not this. Have you ever heard of a debate, serious debate on this sector? Our issues always are packaged within the social cohesion. Social cohesion is not a development. It's a reconciliatory process. It's us saying, let's get together and be peaceful. Now, you have the actors that he's talking about. And I need to educate this before I strangle her. This honourable member. That's what I wanted to say before I strangle her. You see, you expect people who are not well paid, who have problems, who cannot express their feelings, emotions, because they must be smiling, forever smiling in public, because it is in the public's interest that I cannot tell people that I am going through a certain situation, because I'm a public figure, I'm an entertainer. Now you expect these people to go and coerce people socially to enjoy, be in good mood, be celebrating. And when the curtains, what I normally say, when the curtain drops, when it closes, the reality knocks. When the lights are not there, the cameras are not there, the reality comes. That's why most of these actors and artists, they get into drugs to escape this reality. Now that I have to go back home and go and tell my children I come from work, but I did not get paid. I'm still going to be paid maybe 2 months or 3 months later. It's an issue. And this is the education that is not there. That is why even our policies are not digging into. That is why a member of parliament can ask me the question, why should we be considerate of artists who appear once and then they want to say they don't have money? They towing money, they are driving this. We can't paint people with the same brush. It's not everybody who's irresponsible. But that education is important. So if we continue to want to put things in between the lines, it's not going to solve it. It's not. So I think we must be radical about it and say infrastructure we must state because it is part of the NDP. We have cities that are unequal. You go to the township, it's different story. You go to the rural areas, it's different story. You go to the urban schools, they're still building even better schools in the urban areas. Kuro is one of the best schools that you can find in urban areas. But they are saying, no, we can't do anything in the schools that were existing before 1994. We can't upgrade them. We can't take them up, double-story, triple-story schools, because there's no space. How can you say there's no space? Because you can build upwards and put a pool underground. You can do those things, but because that is not directly and explicitly stated by us that we want to do this, we want to rectify what was done previously. I wish we could really be explicit about this. For now, when you talk infrastructure, and I see water and sanitation, it doesn't say the sporting field. Not at all. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Molatani.
I'm going to respond to you.
Switch on your mic, please.
No, I was saying, Chairperson, I'm not going to respond to Honourable Mthethwa, even if I can respond. He did not vote for me. He did not vote for me.
But respond to him. Maybe he will vote for you.
you know, Chairperson, let me raise this, then after I will raise what I want to raise regarding the item where we are. I'm saying to Honourable Mthethwa that, with the issue of actors and actresses, I think at some stage, like me, I'm not in that industry. I will have my own opinion, and the people who are in that industry, they are having their own opinion. My worry is only one, that I regard those people as employees, because before they can do whatever that they are doing, they sign contracts. And when you are not happy with the contract, you raise it before you can even put your signature on that contract. And I'm saying to him now that majority of them, when life it's shiny and rosy and everything, they will keep quiet. Why can't you save for the rainy days? I will just make an example with my immediate family, and he knows the guy very well. He used to sing the Senemitimtimkulu. When life was rosy and so forth, he left us in Zamdela and go and stay in Joburg, living a fleshy life and so forth. But immediately when everything goes south, he wanted to start complaining that we were not paid well, the producers or whoever robbed us and so forth. Why didn't you raise that when things were still okay? The same thing, these actors, he or she will just appear in one episode of a certain story. The next thing, he's starting to blame the government. No, the government doesn't assist us and so forth. Like I'm saying, that they are the employees. They've signed contracts. You know what the details of the contract and what is expected of you in that contract. Why didn't you raise your issues before you sign the contracts? Really, Chairperson, even if Honourable Mthethwa can educate me with the issue of actors, actresses, musicians, and so forth, yes, maybe it will be a good thing. But I will still have my opinion that I need to raise, because really, it can't be right that everything, when it's okay, money comes in, everything, the person is quiet. Immediately when the pockets run dry, that's when they start to complain. Let me just pass that.
Yeah, thank you, Honourable Molatsane.
Can I go to my next? I think, Fiona, you've talked about the priorities of the 7th Parliament. I just want to check how as the committee are we going to achieve all three of them? How are you going to achieve all three of them? Last week, I saw the Department of, in fact, DSEC, they went to strategic session. And I was asking myself that, when are we going to have that as the portfolio, so that we can be able to package our things to know that this is what we want to achieve, and to achieve that we need to do 1, 2, 3. And my work was that they went to strategic session as the DSEC, and they left us outside, and they will expect us to come and approve everything that they do, only to find that their interest and our interest, it's two different things. Thank you, Chairperson.
Yeah, thank you. Before I'm going to give to Honourable Mataung, this debate is very wide, Honourable Mthethwa. It's wide, and you've said it. There is a lack of communication. When and wherever we're going to gag this, but this needs like a full discussion. Communication. We talk about, and you raise the issue of resources. There is numerous things that we can address here. You even raised the issue of planning, which is like that. And you'll find amongst members as well, when they leave Parliament, And if you see your colleagues outside there, they walk next to their shoes. And some survived. So there is some sort of education needed, amongst us to take us to all these processes. And I'm using the example of parliamentarians who have been given the opportunity when they close shop and resign today and get off today, they have been given some breathing space for 3 months. And I think the idea before was the thought of doctors and professionals that was members of parliament. They had to go back and they had to come on their feet again. And if this is the issue raised by Fiona, where the crux is social cohesion, how do we contribute to that? And also in terms of our responsibility and towards what we are doing now is a very serious question. How are we going to fit all of these three in? Because some of it is deep, some of it is subtle, some of it is just like, it's a floating for us. And we need to perhaps go in deep into this, because at the end of the day, we must also have some sort of a report on our successes and how we have dealt with this. Honourable Mataung.
Thank you so much, Chair. It's paining because of when we talk about actors and actresses or anyone regarding to sports, arts and culture, is almost one and the same thing. Even a soccer player, you could find that person, being down and out like nobody's business. And some of the people, they laugh about it. It doesn't matter whether that person had signed a contract or what. But in terms of the education and making sure that these guys, maybe they are guided in a certain manner, or there is money that could be put away for them. It could be a money that could be put away for them through maybe, let's say, for instance, I'll make an example with the sports guy. Maybe from SAFA, they will take a certain percentage of an amount because they know that a career of a sports person, it might last for 5 years. Also, or lesser, if the person breaks his legs, that means he's not going to play soccer ever again, but there will be a pension fund somewhere. So in regarding to the actors, honorable member, bear in mind, there's a thing that we call rates. There's a call rate. So the call rates are not the same. So you might find out that that actor that only appeared once, he only received only 1,500 rand. And that 1,500 rand, it was a call rate that was used in 1998 or 2006. And they're still paying that rate even now. So this thing is very sensitive. Same applies to music. Eugene knows about this. That's why he had to chain himself, at somewhere and stuff. Because we know it's very sensitive. The money that's supposed to go to actors, musicians, and everyone, they don't come back. So it's very paining. This issue is very sensitive. It really needs to be debatable in whatever way, because of, truly speaking, our musicians, our actresses, our soccer players, actually across all the spectrum in terms of the sports, arts and culture. And when we say sports, arts and culture, have you ever thought of swimming? No. Rugby? Yes. Hockey? No. So we only call sports, that's soccer, that's rugby for us. The rest of the other sectors, we don't consider them. So that's where you see a lot of suffering. And again, on sports again, the Paralympic guys, they are suffering like nobody's business. That's where we need to put also our mindset to say, how do we support all these guys, across all the spectrum? I submit.
Thanks. Honourable members, I'm going to allow 15 minutes, the most now, for this session on here. We still have to deal with the adoption of minutes, as well as as some other things. I'm going to give Honourable, you raise your hand, and then Honourable Mthethwa again, and then Honourable Molatsane.
Thanks, Chair. I just want to go back to the document. I second the fact that actually sports is not included in this oversight. I don't even know what would we check for. I get that they're trying to link it to infrastructure, but it's not linked to the oversight issues listed. It's not linked there. So, I mean, for me, it more aligns with governance. If you're going to look there, the professionalization of the public service, they've got big issues in terms of appointments within, across the board, and local government performance with regards to grants that are given to take care of public facilities, and that is a big issue. But I'm not seeing it under infrastructure. I wouldn't even, what would we ask them or question them about? Because it's not listed. Therefore, they can abdicate responsibility at any time to say, well, it's not specified. So what actually are we supposed to do?
I think, sorry to interrupt you, I think it's the interpretation thereof. You go to a golf course, infrastructure, water. Yeah, I'm talking about water now. You go to a swimming pool. If there's no water, there's no swimming pool. If there's no infrastructure, there's no swimming pool. To a soccer grounds, if there's no water to wet the fields, it is white. But what I would like perhaps us to do is to argue the fact to have a specification on our role, because water is actually it's deep, it's low. You can't identify what we actually want to do. Although I know and members know that we are that is part of our cluster. So it is a difficult one. I think they need to specify and be much more specific. Honourable Mthethwa.
Thanks, Chair. No, I won't be tempted to debate the issues. That's why I said it's for another day, the education that we must give, because it's based on perception. I think this calls for one of the things that have been missing in policy making and the implementation. It is the interpretation. There's that missing link in terms of interpretation. I suppose what we should ask ourselves is, here's the 7th Parliament. It talks about Ubuntu. We must give it our own interpretation as the Portfolio Committee to say, to us, Ubuntu, it is responsive, interactive, caring. Okay, we need to respond urgently to the issues, interact with the people. Remember that we are eyes and ears of the people. We are not eyes and ears of government. One of the things that we must also factor into our approach is us going to the people to find out from the people so that we match what government comes and report to us. Does it match with what the people are saying? What are the people's expectations? The sector that you're talking about, as Parliament, as the Portfolio Committee, we must have an engagement with the sector. Just the sector, without government, and say, what are the issues? What is it that is happening? What is it that is not happening? So it's one part of it. And then secondly, one question that we must also ask ourselves is the issue of what causes our responsibilities to hold government accountable. But where do we fail? What causes failures in how we hold government accountable? One of the things that I think it's said by one writer, one scholar, it's Mbatha, in his journal, he says the issue of poor reports. And he links these poor reports, our reports as committee, as Portfolio Committee, not the government, not the department's reports, our reports as Portfolio Committee, that it short changes us in terms of holding government accountable, because if the reports are poor, we'll not be able to find the right things to follow on So it is important that we improve in terms of that. And then he links it with the poor reports, he links it with monitoring, failure to monitor them. You see, we've been told this is what we are going to do by this date. We are going to give you this, but we don't have a system that enables us to follow up whether on this date, it's the 25 today we're expecting. We rely on Zolega and them to follow up Shane, and they are doing that. But we need to have a standardized approach. That says, you remember that system that I spoke about, that it's a manual one would be a flow chart. A flow chart that says, what do we take as a responsibility for us to tackle? What type of matters? If something happens today, what prompts us to act as the portfolio committee? Is it a call from somebody saying this department is doing this or this entity is doing this? We need to have a clearly defined, a list of things that would prompt us to act. And once that has been reported to us, how many days or how long does it take for us to then get feedback from it? We need to have something like that. I think that would help us to be very tough in terms of holding government accountable, because we just sit into these meetings, they give us their promises, and then the minister turns around and says, no, I didn't say that we are doing any forensic. Okay, when you have lied to Parliament, what we call statutory offense, what do? When we find out that Minister Mkhunu, you lied, Parliament, and you said you don't know this person, but now you are coming back and you're saying he is a comrade. What do we do with statutory offense? Do we open cases? Do we arrest people? Do we have the powers? I think those are the things that we need to look into in terms of us being effective as a committee. I'm actually talking about this because I'm busy doing a study on how to improve accountability in government. So that's why I know that there are these journals that have actually stated some of the things that we need to do. Indeed, austerity measures are a challenge, especially when it comes to this portfolio committee. It is one committee that has been put at the back because it falls under entertainment. So it's an afterthought. Oh, by the way, So, I think those are the questions, Chair, that we need to, when we look at this, we must interrogate it in that fashion that we say, what questions do we pose here? What are the issues that we must take and improve and elaborate, not to take it from them saying this is what we must do. We must find our own expression to this. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Fiona, are we only falls under, what is it, 0.6? 5?
Chairperson, in terms of the oversight priority plan,
Only?
it's infrastructure development. We've been flagged. We've been selected to participate in the pilot.
I don't know to what extent we can ask for a revision of that.
It's a draft plan, Chairperson.
Okay, we need to change this because I'm looking, there's another, I looked up now and I saw economical growth. I don't know at which, is it point, where do you see it? Yes. That falls under what?
Yes.
Now, my take on it is when you look at economic growth, you look at, I've made a point here, job creation, the arts, it's coming, soccer players, Honourable, revenue plays a big role when it comes to economic growth, job creation, infrastructure. It's our responsibility. Infrastructure and even tourism. When people come here, they decide to come and go on a tour. So We have to change it. I think we have to change it, listening to the inputs of members. Members, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give 10 minutes.
Chair, can I just elaborate on what you are, just give you an example of everything that is there?
Yeah, it's what?
Governance. We have a challenge with governance in all the federations and what. So you cannot talk about governance. Secondly, social services. You have people who are sick. You have people who need grants, but they don't earn a salary, so they don't qualify for certain benefits within our sector. We have not been defined as workers, by the way, by the Department of Labor. So we don't have salaries. We don't access that. Those contracts you are talking about, they are still in the language that people don't understand, because education was not. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying what gets missing in the process. It's interpretation. We have to look at it and say, economic, what does it mean to our sector? Economic recovery. We have international issues, the treaties. But we don't know. As an artist, I go and perform in Israel, then I find myself in trouble because I don't know what the bilaterals that our country has with that. You have your UNESCO preferential treatment. I don't know what happened to that one. Cultural diversity. I don't know what happened because nobody has taken that time to say, let's sit down and talk cultural diversity. What does it mean? There's monies there that are available. You can go security and justice. People who are doing piracy. The challenge of us addressing piracy was the problem of justice not understanding what piracy is, what a counterfeit good is in terms of our sector. But when you counterfeit money, you get arrested with immediate effect. But when you counterfeit a city, even police are buying the counterfeited cities and what. So it's where we must sit and say, okay, what does it mean environmental? What can we do? What does it mean if it is health, education? We have people who are not educated in our sector, yet they can have access to go to varsity and do MBA, because MBA allows you to do MBA if you've been in business for a period of time undisrupted, 10 years. We have people who have 20 years, but they don't qualify. They don't have any qualifications because there's nobody who understands that this is what we can do as government. So sorry.
No. It needs a debate. That's why I allow you. Take health. We're having an event where 20,000 people participate in Pretoria. What are they spending, Dr. More? What, 10 million, 20 million a day? It also falls under us. So that things that they have there with us for water, no, they must take it out. Okay, so can we ask you in terms of the inputs to make that necessary revisions, and also I'm requesting members who have a sound input on that also to submit those, because like Fiona have said, it's a draft. Fiona, you have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chairperson. Just to quickly respond to the issue of the OPP pilot, we are still awaiting further instruction from the House Chair on how to proceed with. So it's not final. I mean, it's not, our focus on infrastructure development is not cast in stone. So I think that's a conversation we need to have on our side with our managers, and also perhaps Chairperson with the House Chair. But I will include it in the strat plan, the draft strat plan. Just to mention this support of artists. I think I sent this to my colleagues. The Department of Sport, Arts and Culture has advertised a tender for the appointment of a service provider to provide flexible insurance solutions for South African artists and athletes on behalf of the department for a period of 3 years. The virtual briefing session will happen on Friday. But insurance solutions. Yes. So we had the Silapa Wellness program. And this now, the link is no longer available. But I think from what I remember when I looked at it, it also covers stuff like group life, and then also a wellness program and so on and so forth. So there are initiatives, but we need to obviously interrogate.
No, No, Chair.
Let's do this. Let's give her 10 minutes. Then we're going for it. Honourable Daniels, welcome. I have made the apology, yes. Can I ask her to just finish and then we can go for the last round and then we'll go with the other two items, if that is fine with you, unless it is very, very urgent.
No, Chairperson, it's just that I've asked the issue regarding strategic session as the portfolio committee in order for us to find a way to meet those three priorities of the department of the seventh administration.
Yeah, there is a strategic. I was just trying to assess the time and the date. When is that?
2 to 5.
2 to 5 December for the fourth term. But we'll come to that. We'll come to that. There's a program.
It's the fourth term.
That's the program for the fourth term.
You know, Chair, I don't know. I'm getting worried when you say 2 to 5 December. The department has already done their strat session last week, and we are going to be expected to work according to what they've resolved on their strat session. By the time we are going to have our strat session, it will be a fruitless exercise, Chairperson, because they will be pushing us in the direction which they want. Chair, I think if it was going to be something that was going to be done earlier, so that we can be able to correct whatever that they want to bring on the table. But 2 to 5 December, it's a fruitless exercise, Chairperson. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Marachane, I hear what you are saying, but I think we're also bound. I'm not too sure whether this will fit in the program, but this is the program from Parliament. And I don't know why the stretch session is that late also. What we are doing now before we kick off is important. And I would also argue that we should have that simultaneously with the department. Fiona, can you proceed, and then we're going to finalize this.
Chairperson,